it's right. So, this is the main learning objectives for today. So we'll see automation suitability, prioritize the process, and calculate the automation potential of each process, right? So in the first session itself, I told, there is a proper automation implementation team. So at times, they call that as an automation team. Sometimes they call the enterprise automation team. Sometimes they call the RPA automation team, intelligent automation team, and some call them center of excellence. Right, so they are the one team that is responsible to automate most of the processes in the company, right? So that is where you get a call from, we need one solution architect for the project, or we need somebody is waiting in the room. Okay. So we need people, right? Testers, RPA testers is needed, RPA business analyst is needed, RPA developer. So those are the team, right? So they need at least 1 or 2 developers, 1 business analyst in each company that has at least 5 employees with them. They definitely need this many number of RPA business analysts. That's okay. So you can so this will determine how much processes they are going to automate, right? So okay, so everybody able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's not only the RPA team. So as a RPA business analyst, you will be engaging with so many stakeholders within the RPA team as well as outside. So you can see there is a small dotted line, so which is a team, and business analyst is part of the team. So they are called as a business analyst. At the same time, you will be talking to so many other stakeholders where you can find many business analysts in that as well. But don't get frustrated that I am a business analyst and they are a business analyst. Then what is the difference between the two? You are an RPA business analyst, and they are business analyst specialized to their module or their product or their team or their domain. There are specific business analysts, experts in their area. They are called as SMEs. So they are subject matter expert in their area, right? So you are good at RPA. So you will be like interface between that business stakeholders and the automation stakeholders, right? So you are specifically part of the automation implementation team. So, create an imaginary team in your mind. So create a company, imagine a company and or an enterprise or an organization that is having at least 20-30 employees, right? And imagine a team of 5 or 10 members, and you are part of that team, right? You should imagine in that way. And maybe you think about 1 or 2 business analysts. So for now, think you are the only business analyst in an automation team. So you can think any colleagues, they are doing automation development. Maybe you can think me as a project manager for RPA, or some other part of this group as the automation developer, some other as the solution architect. So you need to think in that way. You are already working with this kind of people who knows RPA. At the same time, who don't know RPA is other team. So on the other side of the team, there are many people who don't even know what is automation. So you're going to talk to them, right? So you are going to explain them what we are actually doing and get the requirements documented. And then you are giving it to the developers to develop, right? So you need to create that mind map, so which will be easy for you to explain in an interview setting or even to yourself. Or if somebody asks, what is RPA, you can RPA team, you can explain them. Right, so this has some problem in it. Okay, so I talk about the potential automation, right? So it is for business problem complexity, and there is one more stuff which I couldn't see there.
Raj, this slide is not clear actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm also checking.
Okay.
Okay, I will give an updated slide. So it is for, we need to assess automation. First is business value, second is complexity, and third is feasibility, right? So three are specifically you are going to assess that. And I'll give the updated one, so don't worry about that. So, for successful delivery, what we need to do is, first one is the estimated timelines, and the second one is the estimated effort. So this is on the right hand side. So as a business analyst, you are, responsible for doing so many tasks, right? So one by one, not everything together. You'll be finishing one task and doing the next task and next task. Now that is the way, because you are good at prioritizing what needs to be done first. Pretty very well, right? So first thing is business value. So I told, what we are going to achieve by automating that business process, right? So by automating, how many dollars of value you are going to create, or how much time you are going to save, or is that something more customer satisfaction or employee moral that you are going to improve, right? So these are the main things that you will see in terms of a business value, right? And in complexity wise, so there is a lot of techniques to see, how complex the process is. So complexity depends on, how many number of screens we have, or how is the input, how is the data. Yeah, is the data straightforward, or is it is the data is coming from a database. Can the tool talk to the database to grab that value? And please note that you are not doing this all alone. You have, that is why I show the team, which is the automation implementation team. So you can always discuss with your project manager, your solution architect, and automation developer, and see whether it is possible or not, right? And then you can come across that complexity of the process, right? And feasibility is, how, whether it is possible or not. So for feasibility and complexity, you need to talk to your solution architect or the project manager if you are, not aware of the complexity, right? And for successful delivery, right? For successful delivery of the project, so you need to have a proper estimated timelines. So how do you know the timelines as a RPA business analyst, right? So if somebody asks you to estimate the timelines, how do you do it, right? So now you talk to the stakeholders and understand what process you are going to automate, and you can see what are the tasks you are going to do, right? So how many functions are you are going to generate, and based on that you have a discussion with your team and ask them the question, how long it take to complete. For example, they say, I want to log into a page and extract some values, right? So you can say, they will say at times we get 10 pages of data, but at times there is 500 pages of data. So the scenarios, how much, for which input you are going extracting 5 pages, and for which input you are extracting 10 pages of data, right? So you will be listing out the scenarios. Now you talk to your developer and ask them, hey, developer, is it really feasible to log into this website, right? Not every website can be logged. Don't have any assumptions that, RPA can do everything. The tool is capable of doing everything. No, not at all. At times, it doesn't, understand some technology, right? Or the websites or applications developed in some technology, it literally fails there. The robot not able to read that. So at that time, the tool actually fails. They need to go for some other tool. So you need to check with your solution architect or the developer, hey, is it really possible? Then he will check and say, yes, it is possible to log in, or it is possible to extract that value. Because some technology, the websites itself has a lot of limitations. They restrict the robots to access their data. So at that time, it is not possible. So we cannot commit to the client that, see, we can do this. right? So you need to do a clear assessment of whether it is possible or not, because this is where most of the project fails. They say yes, it is possible, and later they find out no, it is not possible. So they fails there. So you are the communicator, right? So now you kind of, hey, Harpreet, yeah, go ahead.
Raj, like, can we like elaborate on this, like why there is like we cannot go ahead with the automation, or which domain there would be some restrictions there? Like you worked in banking, so how
Yep.
was your experience in that? Because like it is a complex environment.
Yeah.
So like any use case you can.
Yeah, definitely, man. So, there are many scenarios. So, at times, the data, your data access, right? The environment access to specific department is very necessary. So, even if you need a folder access to a specific department, it's not that easy, right? So, especially in banking, like Westpac, Commonwealth Bank, or Reserve Bank, right? So, there will be multiple teams, and there will be so if you want to access some department data like risk department data, you won't get it that easily. So you need to raise specific request to, there are processes, right? There are many processes within the company to get one access to a folder. We may see it, okay, it's just a folder, you copy and paste, but getting the access to the folder itself is difficult, right? So that is another parameter to add, how easy it is to get the access of those environment, those folders, right? And those applications, right? You need to access to the application to log into their systems. So that itself a challenge. Sometimes you have this accesses everything already in place, but most of the time business analyst will work with the other stakeholders to get that accesses to yourself first, and also to all the developers, right? So you will be representative of your team. So as I told here, so you are one of the representative for this team. You will be going to talk to different stakeholders for all the accesses folders. So when it comes to banking, yes, that is a specific challenge I come across. And there are also in the banking side, they are using some applications which is from, like 1990s, in the 2000s. It's like mainframe systems, like we call that as a legacy systems. So there are so many legacy systems are already used which doesn't have APIs. If you don't understand this line, it's okay. I will explain that what is API, and how to access that in the advanced sessions. So they don't have APIs, means they are not data friendly, right? So don't have API, they are not data friendly. API is data friendly. They actually are happy to share your data when you are requesting for a data. They are happy to share the data. But those who are not API friendly, so they are not data friendly. They are not ready to share their data, but they are able to share in a different format, maybe in an Excel file or a CSV file. So you need to go and access that. At sometimes the mainframe system itself is very hard to access, because they were built with COBOL, Fortran, and very legacy platforms and technologies. If you don't understand, that's fine. It's a old application, right? So the latest UI, the tools like UiPath are very latest applications, right? So latest technology, and at times it doesn't behave well when it talks to legacy systems. Not only UiPath, many tools have that challenge. So it's quite a tedious task for a developer to work and get data from those systems. So those are the main challenges in the banking sector I face.
Right. Yeah, I know. Like I have worked on one legacy part, one legacy system. It was like really challenging, especially like I think in the legacy there are multiple sessions get you can use.
Mhm.
So that's what I think there was challenge. Which session is for we are working on, and which session is to refer. So
Okay.
there we got confused. Like it is all very early stages when I was like working on one of the automation with in like 3 years back with Footlock
Yeah.
or something. So it
Okay.
was, yeah, fun, but Yeah, that's true. Like I've faced that.
See, every business is different, right? So every business is unique, every business is different, and they have their own challenges, right? So we cannot be always prescripted. We only work in this way, we only work in that way. We actually need to be dynamic in a way. How depends on what the business requirement is. We need to keep on changing our approach, right? So yeah, that is what it's very essential these days. You need to be really dynamic with respect to stakeholders as well. Not all the people are same, right? People are different. Each stakeholder come with different characteristics, right? Some are very friendly to share information. Some are very difficult to deal with. You cannot even get a single line from them. Even you may be talking for hours and they share just one line of information. What you are going to do with that? How you are deal with that candidate, right? So you need to change the approach in way you ask the questions to them. Instead, you can put everything in your email, prepare an Excel sheet and prepare all your questions and then send it to across, having all the stakeholders together. Now that person is responsible to share the answers, right? So these are the techniques. When you will come across, as much you spend time with our platform, right? So there are various techniques. So you'll come across that. And yeah, so in this case, what is the you required is to do the technical validation, right? The business case validation. So you need to understand the business value. And what is business value? So any guess what is business value? Nobody?
Like the turnovers,
Turnover of what? The business?
business turnover, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
In terms of monetary.
Yeah, that's correct. Monetary value of
Yeah.
a turnover of a business, right? Yeah, it is partially right. In any other guess?
The value addition to the society or to the community.
To the community, nobody cares about that. It's only a term they use
Oh,
community, but finally it comes to the value of the business, how much profit you are going to make.
Profit,
Right?
yeah.
customer satisfaction can be
Customer
value.
satisfaction is a hidden value, but
Okay.
it's not now. But at this space, the business value is all about
Monetary.
you are see, we are talking about the process analysis, right? So the current state of the process. So you are going to see how much they are spending currently to do a business process. So you take one specific business process, right? So for that business process, how much it is costing them currently, right? How much money they are spending to achieve that business process and how much time they are spending currently, right? You need to see, we will have a estimated value, like, they are averagely, like for average, they are earning 80K per year and you employ 10 resources, right? So, which is 800K you are spending for the project to achieve a business process, right? Manually, and it takes how much time to complete. So, for one specific transaction takes 2 days to complete, right? For example, opening a bank account takes 2 days to complete and you are involving 10 people there. So this is before automation, right? So after automation, how you are going to change that? So the 2 days of business process will be done in just 1 or 2 hours. So you are saving around 15 hours of time back to the business, which is also a saving, right? And that will be converted to the cost. So how many hours you save? So that will be converted into the cost, and you say, okay, we are saving FTE, like, so in the full-time employee, so they are, we are saving the time of them, and we are bringing this many difference in time and this much difference in value. So by implementing automation, we are able to save at least 50% of what you are spending right now, and that is the business value. So why somebody want to implement automation in their business, right? It's not required, right? So if they are manually able to achieve things, let them go on, right? So why we need to automate that? So we need to say, see, before automation, this is what you are spending, but if you automate this, you are going to save 50% of your cost, which means 50% of your time, and speed to market is high, and customers are satisfied. So customer satisfaction, that value all comes later on. Additionally, you are doing this, but the main core they will see is what is the dollar benefits they are expecting, they are achieving. So that is the main benefit. Yeah, all the community stuffs come, right? But it depends on which stakeholder you are talking to, right? For the community related stakeholders, you will say, yeah, we are going to create a lot of community value in that. We are going to add this many benefits, that many benefits, right? But when it comes to the finance, so get the approval of the project, you need to focus on the core value, which is, how much cost benefit you are going to save as part of, the business implementation, the making the automation implementation as well, right? So you need to have this kind of idea to, get the business value and find the complexity. And this is the feasibility, the third one. So, how feasible it is. Feasibility, you will talk to the complexity, and feasibility, you will be talking to the developers. And for successful delivery, we need to have a proper timelines, estimated timelines, right? So you need to have a proper development team, solution architects, and everyone to tell the time correctly, right? They cannot keep on changing, right? So initially they say, I finished this in 2 weeks time, and later after doing, they find a lot of challenges and say, no, now it takes 2 months, which means, as a business analyst, it's hard for you to handle that with the external stakeholders, because they will ask you, initially you told it is 2 weeks. You cannot say, developer told that, now, developer tell this. Yeah, that is actually the fact. But you need to tell it in a different way about, the challenges that we are facing. But, that's the next thing. But, yeah, you need to have some approximate estimate, which is correctly depends on how complex the process is. Right? And the estimated efforts, which is that, how much effort required to, how many resources required to do that, and how much days you are going to do that, right? So all these things, estimated timelines and the efforts, how long, what are you going to do, and how long it's going to take. That's the main questions that you are going to answer as part of that, right? So
Raj, can we also say productivity and efficiency also can be a business value here?
productivity and
Efficiency of the like it will be also affecting, right?
yes, of course, yeah, you can add all the benefits, right? So yeah, so you can add the, productivity, efficiency increases. So that is why I told the speed to market, right? So the
Okay.
efficiency is increased and productivity is increased, means you are doing the process really, really fast. And instead of getting it in 2 days, they are getting it in 2 hours. So the customer is super happy. They recommend your services and products to different people, and the business grows, right? So that is why, yeah, you can add that definitely. So next thing is, your opportunity, right? So there are so many opportunity comes. So what we are doing is actually assessing the business opportunity, right? So why we do this? Because mainly the senior management and business unit leaders need to provide a process backlog, a high level description of the process at the organizational levels, as well as the list of stakeholders to collaborate with for each process. So which means you have one process identified. So, now somebody needs to approve this budget, how many people are going to work in this process, and how many days it is going to take. In a high level, they need to create some kind of reports to their senior management team to get the approval, right? So they need to create a backlog of, we have identified five processes within this department, and we need 10 resources to automate this project, and we need 1 year to automate that project. And that is why jobs come to the market. We have 6 months contract role or 12 months contract role in this company for a RPA business analyst or a RPA developer. So it's all after that approval, right? But somebody needs to be there to create this backlog, and all your inputs will be crucial to estimate and this create that approval process, right? So So what is our main aim is we will be calculating and understanding the automation complexity. So after you analyze the process, now you know what are the in-scope items, what are the out-of-scope items, because you talk to your developer and you understand, are we going to automate this process or are we not going to automate? So those are the things you are going to automate. So those are the in-scope, not automate, those are the out-scope. Because some like I told that few applications we cannot talk, right? The automation tools not able to talk with certain tools. So those are the things it's not automated. So we will have some alternate arrangements to access that data, but somehow it is not automated. Not everything, don't think that it is like the robots are super efficient or superheroes, they can do everything. Yes, they are, but only up to a certain level. They cannot do everything, right? They are not that super intelligent. Humans are more intelligent than robot, right? Because we create robots, we are intelligent, and robots, we are giving the intelligence to the robot on how they do. Yeah, they do things fastly, but they are not as intelligent as you. So you are going to train the robot of how it is going to do things. You are going to tell what it needs to do or what it not supposed to do, right? So we are instructing the robot, we are creating it, right? So don't think that it is capable of doing each and everything. That's it's a myth. So you need to go through and understand the automation complexity. So there are tools and techniques to do how the automation complexity of the process, and you will be understanding the automation potential of the in-scope, right? So basically you will be doing some calculation to understand the automation potential, right? So how easy it is, right? How easy or hard it is to automate that process, or what are the maximum benefits we are going to get out of that process, right? Once we automate, what is the benefit? So as I told already, so you are going to say this much benefits we are going to create. So once you have the benefits and the complexity, so you'll be creating some Excel, so which is already there, the template. You just map the benefits with the complexity, and you get some beautiful diagram, just like this in the last one. So you will get something called, once we map the benefits and the complexity, so you will get some boxes like this. So which will say, low hanging fruits, quick wins, long-term improvements, and must-do improvements. So our aim is, these quick wins are the best candidate for automation because they have high complexity, high benefit, but low complexity. They are very easy projects. So, you have 10 different processes. So, out of 10 process, maybe, 4 process goes into the quick wins. We focus on that 4 processes, and 2 in the low hanging, and 2 in the must do, and 2 in the long-term improvements. Consider that long-term improvements is not going to happen any soon, but the quick wins, the quickly we can automate that. The low hanging fruits also is possible, and must do improvement. Yeah, maybe it can be done or cannot be done. Sometimes it is possible, but these top 2 boxes, maybe we can consider this automation not going to happen, right? So yeah, first these 2 can be done. So you put the complexity and benefits map. So if it is low and high, it is the quick win. Low and medium, it's a quick win. So you map and you get what we are going to do. So we know what we have, right? So your management team, based on your inputs, they can decide which process they are going to automate in this quarter or in this year, right? So maybe, depends on the business priority or the importance of the business. They may prefer to do this must do improvements. And must do improvements is, as I told, some applications don't have APIs. So they will create that APIs, or some application doesn't have certain screens, and they create that screen, and it will take some time to create that thing to do automation. Something is stopping to automate. That is the must do improvements, and they will come up with the improvement, and which takes time. and you will come to know from the other business, whether it will be done or not done. If it is done, you can update your backlog and make it a quick win scenario. Right, so why I tell that, just to explain this prerequisite of the process. And to prioritize the business process, so you will be understanding the complexity level and benefit. See, yeah, this is just an approach, how you going to create the strategy, how you understand and lay out the complexity factors, how you calculate the complexity level, right? So there are factors that will determine how you can create the complexity level, right? And similarly, how you can calculate the automation potential. So based on that, once you have that, you map the business benefits as is shown in the diagram, and then you put it into the quadrants, and now you know what are the process you are going to automate. So you have 4 processes to automate, and you can prioritize that process which needs to go first. Depends on the discussion with your management team and with your business stakeholders, what needs to be go first, right? And it also depends on which developer is available to automate. So you have 4 processes, and you have 4 developers. It is very easy, assign all the 4 processes to the 4 developers, right? You can work with your project manager to do that, but your job is not to assign that process to a developer. Your job is to create how many number of processes we need to automate, whether that can be automated or not. So these are the questions you will be answering, right? You are not responsible to automate that process, but you are providing inputs to automate the process. Okay. Any questions so far? Is it too much for you?
So complexity, how we are defining only those factors where we are saying the number of steps it takes
Yeah.
and screens and all
That's
those.
correct. I'm coming there actually. How
Okay.
complexity, I will come there. And other than that, if you have any question, you can ask. But I'll tell about how we are calculating the complexity and how we are calculating the potential. Okay. So we'll be showing in a moment. Yeah. So determining automation suitability of process aids in defining the automation implementation strategy. So this is the automation implementation strategy, but we need to know the automation suitability, which I told first, it's the same, nothing much. So, it can be, depends on the complexity and high frequent, it is the complexity, okay, the complexity and the benefit, or, you can say, some applications. Yeah, Deepti, go ahead.
Rajneesh, like if you go to the previous slide,
Yeah.
yeah, this one. Like let's say if we have joined as a business analyst, so the first thing we need to do is to understand the business,
Yeah.
and then only we can move to these steps.
Yes.
So how we can approach about that with the organization, and who are the right person to give us the understanding of business?
Yeah, so you will be, it is your task of the project manager,
Okay.
right? So he will be, initially you will be establishing, they will be helping you establish a relationship with the other stakeholders. Somebody will be introducing you to the team, and they say, this is the team that you are going to work with to identify the business opportunity, right? The automation opportunity. So as a business analyst, when you are onboarded, so you will be introduced with the team, and you will be going to talk to the team, what are the process. They are the stakeholders already aware of, what is expected out of them. So they will tell you, okay, these are the problems we have. So you will be talking to the stakeholders, going with so many questions. What's the process, right? So what process you are doing? And
Yeah.
what are the applications involved, right? And what is your day-to-day tasks in that, in your business, right? And what you do, basically what you do, why you do, how you do,
Yeah.
why you are doing this,
Yeah.
how many savings.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ask pretty much everything. What is the process name? Why don't you do in why don't you do it in this way or that way? You can ask all the questions, but ask them, what is the pain points, right? So understand, what is the problem they are facing. For some people, they are working in the weekends, right?
Mhm.
Do you agree, like if in the Friday night, if somebody asks you to work in the office, how difficult it will be, right? So nobody want to be in that situation.
Yes.
So people are working in that way. They are connecting from home. Even for run a report, they have to go to the office at the Friday night to run the report, or somebody has to go to the office at Saturday and Sunday to check the reports. Some people, not everybody.
Yeah.
Even still, some are doing that. So that is a clear pain point, right? So nobody, humans doesn't needs to do that. So we have robots to do that. So you understand what is the problem they are facing with. Even it may be a very simple problem, copy paste, creating a form data, but the problem is they are doing it millions of data, right? So a team of 10 members will be doing millions of transaction just to copy paste 5 field level information, right? So, but it is a complex process. It's a tedious process rather than a complex process, right? Why somebody has to do that, right? So they will be explaining what is the actual pain points. Now you know what is the background of the problem, what is the actual problem, right? Why, what is the purpose of doing the automation, right? So
Right.
you will be asking that. You mainly need to understand the background of the process, purpose of the automation, right? Purpose of the project, and what are the benefits you are going to bring. Once you understand that, rest of the things is going to be easy, right? Yeah. So now you understand?
Yes, that's good. Thank you.
Cool. So initially, when I talked about the benefits, some of you have told, community related things and productivity and employee moral, customer satisfaction and happiness, all those stuff. So those are called as I was thinking about that word actually. It is called tangible and intangible. Tangible, something measurable, the measurable in terms of outcome, right? How many dollar values you are going to generate, how much time you are going to save, right? That is the tangible benefits. We have a clear measurement of how many percentage we are going to save. And there are intangible benefits, which is like happiness, joy, right? And so many things. The employee moral is increased, and customer satisfaction. These are all intangible benefits. So still you can add, those are also benefits. Not everybody are money motivated. Some companies, they want their best customer satisfaction. They don't mind how many money they are going to spend. They want the customers, right? They want the best customer satisfaction. So they focus on the intangible benefits. And there are also some companies, they are good at the community level services. So they also need automation in reaching the customers, right? Doing their services, like some kind of this thing, helping the poor people in other countries, right? So what we call as charity and things like that, even they need automation, right? So
CSR,
yeah, can you expand that?
corporate social responsibility.
Yeah, CSR. So there are companies who are doing that, like Save the Children and so many organizations working on, so many millions of organizations are there, that they are dealing with like millions of customers, right? And their data is huge, so they also need automation. So those kind of things are intangible benefits. So those are also you can map. And finally, you will put it in the quadrant, what can be automated or what cannot be automated. So that is the very clear aim of the assessment, right? And this is just an approach. So how you are going to prioritize the process, how you are going to understand, and how you are going to calculate. So I'll be showing in a moment of how. So all your automation will be in one of these 4 things, right? something can be 100% automated, so which is called zero touch automation. And now you can think about that high benefit and low complexity. So no human intervention, robot will take care of everything. It is completely digital, zero touch automation. And something, the low hanging fruits here, which is the semi automation, which means at times there are manual intervention required. Somebody need to click or somebody need to approve or something. For example, a passport verification, right? Somebody need to look at the person to verify, yes, this person is correct, or verify the signature. So those are the area, semi-automation, some kind of manual intervention is required. And digital is high cost automation. Why I say high cost automation? As I told, the legacy applications, if something needs to be done in the enhancement needs to be done there, it is way too expensive, right? So they need to involve a project team to do that, which is, we call that as high cost automation. So, it's when we are not able to automate certain part of a project and we need some team to actually create some kind of improvements, right? To do that, it is high cost. It cannot be affordable. So, if some company, they can afford that, we'll go for that. Otherwise, it is not possible. Manual, there is, no RPA, no robotic process automation possible there. It's way too tedious. It's like, for example, a web page, it's, every day developer keep on changing something, field changes, we cannot automate those things, not suitable for automation. So now, so initially I told, the successful of a project depends on how good you analyze the process, right? So if you analyze it thoroughly, you can put it in this quadrant. And if one of your process come into the manual quadrant, you can say, no, it is not possible, right? So out of 10 processes, you can clearly say some 2 or 3 processes cannot be automated, 4 processes easily automated, and 1 or 2 process, it takes some effort to automate. So now you are in a very confident state of what are the process that you can automate or not automate, right? So this is the automation suitability. And here, this is the one. The first thing is the complexity. So let me fix this. Okay, so first one is the process complexity. So this is the savings, right? So first I told how we will determine the complexity. So how we will determine, let me type it. Okay, then you can understand. So process complexity. It's very easy. Actually, it is mainly few parameters in that. So define the slope, which is less than 35%. So we call that a slow, medium, high, right? So there are 3 kinds of process complexity. What is low is it is less than 35% is low. If it is medium is 35 to 65% is medium, and greater than 65%. So you will be putting a rating on, how complex it is. So if it is very easy to navigate, login, copy data, paste data, if it is easy to put it as low, but this number you will put it by discussing with your developers. Okay. So once you get, you define the rating of the complexity, high, low, medium of one process, then it is easy. So how you derive this? How to derive? So first thing is type of input. Type of input method. And then type of input method. Second is percentage of free text. Okay. The third one is number of applications. 4 types of applications. Find the number of screen navigations. Right? Pretty simple. So, only this much questions you need to ask to the business stakeholders you are involving. You need to ask, how is the input, what is the type of input? Not all the input is available in a proper Excel format or, the way you may imagine in a database or something. Some input are really, really complex. They will say, we get the inputs from the customer as a scanned document, right? So customer scans the document and send it in email, and that is the input, right? How the customer scan it, different people behave differently, right? Somebody take photo and somebody take, print out and scan. Somebody scan as it is, and somebody use a very low quality scanner. Somebody use a very high quality scanner. It's all, it's highly tedious task, but it's not your problem, right? But you need to capture that information, how it is, what is the type of input. Some inputs are really straightforward. So they say, customer sends email, and the email has a specific field, that is the thing. And sometimes customer fill a form, and you have the form data stored somewhere, and that's easy, right? So what is the type of input method? Maybe say email, files like Excel, and say PDF, what else, folder or image, so on and so on, right? It can be any number of input method. You may discuss with them and find out. Next is the percentage of free text. So percentage of free text is the text files, text file, or you are able to copy the free text. What is free text, first of all? So what I am typing is a free text, right? So if I am able to click and copy, it is a free text, right? But here in the PDF, in the image, I cannot copy here, right? So it is not a free text, it's an image, so I cannot copy, right? So, but the PDF document may be an image. As in some PDF, you can copy the data. So those are free text. If you are able to click and copy it, then it is a free text. If not, it is not a free text, right? Number of applications. So it can be a Java application, .NET application. Do you need to know .NET? How many of you think that you need to know Java and .NET to find this answer, number of applications? .NET, Python, and legacy applications. Do you think that you need to know Java to identify these answers? .NET, yes or no?
I think not like in depth, but to understand like what application it's built on. Just to know, but I think it's not like required actually.
Okay. Is it as a developer you are talking, or as a business analyst?
Business analyst.
Do you really think so?
Because I don't think so that because it's really technical thing, right? And as a BA, we are not going to be that technically and like involving into what kind of application, but to know it's better, like what on what basis this application is running.
Yeah, if you know,
Java, dot, dot.
yeah, but it is no requirement you need to know. It's absolutely not necessary. So even if without any kind of programming language, it's still possible. Okay, but you need to ask what technology you developed. You need to ask that question.
Okay.
Why it is for your developer information. So you are just acting as an interface between the developer and the business analyst. So for the developer, you are representing the developer. So you are asking some question related to development. So not necessarily you need to have all that information. So to ask this question, you no need a Java background, right? What kind of what's the platform it's developed? What kind of application it is? Does it has API or don't have API? You can ask all those questions. You no need to know all those things, but whatever they say, just document it or just record it. and then pass it on to the developer. Let him do whatever he wants with that information. Okay. So what are the types of applications? First, number of applications. So you will say 1, 2, or 3, and types of applications is what is Java.NET. And number of screen navigation. So you will put 5, 10, 5, 10, 15, 95, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So based on this, there will be number of things, right? So this is how you will derive it. So what you're deriving here, process complexity, right? So to derive the process complexity, you need to know whether it is high, low, or medium. So this is one side of it. On the other side, you need to know what are the savings, or it is the potential savings, right? So what are the potential savings, right? So how it is derived? So you need to know how many full-time employees are working, right? Full-time employee benefits and automation percentage. So how many percentage we are going to automate? So to understand that, how many employees you are going to help, or how many percentage of automation you are going to get, right? Automate. You need to just know four things. So percentage of rule-based steps. I hope you will be agreeing with the number of steps, right? So you I talked about in the first class a process and a procedure. So process is just a rule, but the procedure will be number of steps, right? So you know there is a number of steps involved for for completing a process. So how many percentage are rule based? So in out of that, if there is 10 steps, out of 10 steps, how many steps are rule based, right? It has a proper rule. Okay, this input comes from email, so it is a rule. But sometime, there is no rule. They will say this employee just randomly log in and put information. How do we know that? Right? There is no rule there. So a process has to have proper rules. So if the rule is more, it is really good. So how many percentage of rule? And second thing is type of input method. The same as the previous one. So type of input is whether it is a text or a image or what kind of thing. So based on that, you can arrive. And free text as well. How much amount of free text we have? Yeah, Harpreet, go ahead.
Raj, so for free text, can we also say that handwritten document will be also counting in free text?
No, that is against the free text.
Against, okay.
Yeah. So handwritten, it is, we cannot read that because you cannot copy the handwritten text. And it's very, very complex to automate.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So here what we are saying here, by chance we are able to automate that. How much we are going to save? So what is the percentage of free text we have? So we are going to establish that. And the process type of that process, right? So whether it is a standard process or it is kind of a very complicated process. So these kind of things you will be identifying there in terms of the standard process. There is not much change, but some process are it is not feasible. It is like very related to this kind of number of screen navigation, or in the past we talked about some screen keep on changing so frequently we cannot automate that. So whether it is a standard process or process expected to change, or there is a lot of exception in that process. Exception is some error in that page. Right, actually we are going today too much on the business analyst thing, but still I am not completed. Okay, so by that you will know what is the here I show the image. So once you have the complexity and potential, you can map the automation quadrant. So it depends on the various factors. So complexity factors, I told number of screens, type of applications, and structured input, unstructured input, and so on. you have high, low, medium. So low is the one we are working on. So what is this? Defining the automation complexity. So the easiest process, we can do it in 2 weeks time, right? Even if it is the easiest one, we will take 2 weeks to complete. The medium level will take 3 to 4 weeks to complete. The high will take 4 to 6 weeks or even more to complete, right? So this is how I told, you need to tell a clear deadlines, timelines, right? So now, after you map, you clearly know whether it is a low, medium or high. Based on that, you can say, okay, it takes this much amount of time to complete, right? So basically you say 1 to 2 weeks of the process. So, it's a rule-based factors driving automation potential. So I told that the standard input and rule-based and process types. So you can come across and say, okay, this is the factors that is driving. So I showed you this thing, right? The percentage of rule-based, type of input, free text, the process type. It's the same here. Right, and finally, it's the benefit. So once you map these things, both the complexity and the automation potential, so you get the cost savings, the productivity gain, right? Cost saving is how much, so currently the 10 employees are working, then you need only 5 employees to work on that process, right? So that is a cost saving of 5 employees, right? You may be shocked there. You will have some questions on that. Yeah, I'll address that. And productivity gain is, Harpreet rightly asked this question, the productivity. So increased in processed volume, right? So we because we are doing it quite fast, so the turnaround time will be reduced, and average handling time, right? For example, if somebody, some process takes 10 minutes to complete. So for 10 process, it takes, kind of 100 minutes to complete. But now if one process take 1 minute to complete, so you are finishing in 10 minutes. So you're saying kind of 90 minutes there, right? So initially the average handling is 10 minutes before automation. After automation, it's just 1 minute. So you saved a 90% of, the productivity or the business agility there, right? So, that means, it is so fast, right? So you can go in a faster pace than before. And also you are improving in the quality, because human always make mistakes, but robot doesn't make, right? Not always, most of the time. So quality improvements and error reduction. So which means, there is a 0% error rate, right? Or you can say 1% instead of 0. There are times, the robot also sometimes make mistake because of that might be also comes from a human. They didn't provide the proper input, or they didn't code it correctly. So what we say is what they do. So in times it goes wrong. And compliance, this is something additional you need to check. So whether it is able to comply to regulatory requirements, what are the customer satisfaction and how flexible they are in terms of scaling up and scaling down. So you automate that, but at times you need to more volume to automate, sometimes less volume. Right. So finally, you get this one, the quick wins. So some questions needs to be asked. So I told, as a business analyst, you need to ask a lot of questions, right? So in terms of, you need to ask what is the process name, what is the process location and region, and who are the SME subject matter expert here, what are their names, because you will forget the name. First meeting you will go and ask their name. Second time you don't remember their name, but still it will be in the email. But when you're talking to one candidate, you need to tell, see, I talked to that person in the other department, but I forgot their name. Oh, no, that doesn't sound good. You need to remember the name, right? So you need to ask what is the name of the SME. Maybe, you need to ask so many questions like, is the input standard? What is the type of the input? Is there any scanned images or handwritten documents? Does it process require reading a free text, right? So what is the number of employees? How many of you working in this process? And what is the process frequency? And what is the average handling time? Total number of steps involved. So to do the process metrics, right? The complexity of the process and the business benefits to come across, you need to ask all these questions to the business stakeholders just to fill that template, right? So you need to ask a lot of questions like, is there a quality check? Is the process manual and repetitive? Right. So, for us, what process we automate, it must be manual, it must be repetitive, and it is a rule-based process, right? And there is not much change expected in, frequently, like every 3 to 6 months, there is not much change. And there is no exception, like exception is very less in that application, right? So these are the questions you need to ask, what technology it is, .NET, Java, and does it have a remote desktop? How many number of applications? So if you are asking these kind of questions, you are pretty much all good, right? So quick recap. So mainly, 3 things we talked about. One is the complexity of the process. One is the benefits of the process. That is mapping that complexity with benefits and coming across what is the percentage you are going to automate. What is the business value you are going to create, right? So these are the main 3 things, but we also discussed about many other things as well, right? Like the team we discussed, and you are a business analyst talking to different stakeholders, and you will be determining the automation suitability. You are the one who is analyzing the process, talking to the business stakeholders, and provide the timelines of the process. How soon it can be completed, or whether it can be done or cannot be done. And you assess the potential for 3 things. So one is the business value, complexity, and feasibility, right? Everything with the help of not alone, it's all together. So one thing you will notice, you are not doing it alone in anywhere. You have a team to support you, but you need to support the team as well, right? So they need your support in understanding few things. So that is where your role is. You no need to have any prior experience, right? So prior experience is really good, but if you don't have, it's okay. Now itself you can start practicing this kind of asking the right questions to the right stakeholders. So if you are good at communication so far, you are good with the RPA, right? So that is a quick recap. But quickly, do you have any further questions on the topics discussed only so far? Did anyone sleep during this? Anybody get sleep during this session?
No.
No.
At least, I'm happy with that. Nobody slept. One of the previous session, somebody told, I already slept. And I was talking, nobody's responding. So I thought, okay, everybody's sleeping. Okay, that's good. So
Raj, one more thing for this effort estimation, right? So it will be always we will take help of a solution architect or developer to estimate the effort, including not just BA work but the entire development, right?
see, you want as the estimation is automatic, right? So you only will talk to the developers to see how complex it is, right? So yeah, initially I told we need to check with the developers. You can check with the developers how long it will take, right? Just to assess the complexity of the process. So for
Okay.
us, it is only the complexity of the process, right? So what is the type of the input, and how much application used, and number of screens. So with that, you can talk to the developer, right? Because at times we know whether it is feasible or not feasible, right? So to determine the feasibility, you will be talking to the developer, especially the feasibility and complexity. You cannot do it alone, because somebody has to tell you whether it is feasible or not, whether it
Correct.
is complex or easy. You can have some assumption, but it is not good to have assumption. You need to clear your assumption, right?
Correct.
So better have to talk with a solution architect. Hey, is it feasible or not? Right. So, but you will by doing many processes, you will understand. Okay, it is not feasible, or it is feasible, and then you will clear your assumption, saying that I put it in a assumption that it is feasible, and then they will check. But it is all team effort. It's not a one-man show, right? So RPA development, It's not the developer only job. You can see that success depends not on how good their development is, but it is on how good you are analyzing it, right? So
Right.
you analyze first. So you are saving a lot of value, creating a lot of value, right? Because whether it can be automated or not automated at this stage itself. Within 1 or 2 weeks, people know or what we are going to automate. So you are creating a confidence in the team within the business side, right? So that way it is highly beneficial. So you need to talk to the developer most of the time to determine the complexity and feasibility. Then you map that and get the business value and say, for timelines, this much time it takes for small project, this much time it takes for medium project, that much time for complex project. Only three, everything is defined only within, you will be operating only within these guidelines.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Okay, that's all good. So anybody else have any other questions?
Rajneesh, can we do a demo of how we analyze the business complexity and everything, which we have studied today?
That is a good question. Yes, I can do that. Definitely on the next class, I will be showing one tool
Sure.
that is taking care of all this automation. That is called Automation Hub. So I'll be explaining in the next class how this is done. But yeah, good one.
Right. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions? Okay. So I think we are very clear. Just of the people, it's all good. So why I say this is a heads up to the next session, which is called a process analysis, right? So in the process analysis, I told it in the previous class as well. We are going to create a few documents, which is called the current state document. That is one thing, and the future state document, right? And the PDD document, process design document, and solution design document. So we are going to create a various document. Solution design document we are not going to create. It's mainly the current state and the process design document. To create that document, you need to do all this assessment, and that is why I need to explain more about how we do business case validation. So without understanding how we do business case validation, it's really tough to create the current state of the process. Right? So you will be doing a lot of ways to talk to your stakeholders, mainly using interviews and shadowing them, right? You go and sit with them and see what they are doing, right? And you will be asking a lot of questions, and you will be conducting discovery workshops, right? So you'll be conducting workshops mainly, they will walk through the process and you ask questions, and then you walk through what you have and ask questions. So, this process will keep on going on. And you will ask about all the documentation they have in the process. So you get access to all the documents, analyze their documents, ask, do you have any existing documents in your project? So if they say yes, and can you please send that document and go through that document. And you also tell them, I'm going to send you a list of questions. Can you please answer to that? You can create a document and ask them to answer in that, right? So these are the approach that you can take. Right. So I will, in the next class, I will be showing you one of the current state. So me and Harpreet is working on one of the project. So Harpreet has done one of the current state of the process. So I'll be showing that to you in the next session of how he has done that and what are the feedbacks he has gone through and how he has come up with the document. So I can show that in the next class. Also, as per duty request, I'll be also showing how that process assessment is also done. That will be really great to understand a tool called the UiPath Automation Hub. Okay. So with that, the theoretical session is done. I know I took a somewhat extra time, but I had to do this. Otherwise, you don't understand what it is. Even if you're going through some documents, without I say that you absolutely don't have any idea about what they are talking about. The complexity topic is always a complex topic for anyone if you don't tell that. So that is why I spend a bit more time on this. Right. So now let me open UiPath. So I'm going to teach 1 or 2 hours of session in next 30 minutes. So this is going to be more useful to understand, variables and arguments, right? So those are the very basics of the UI path RPA development. Okay. So now if you're a business analyst, now you can, wear your developer hat and listen this. If you are developer hat already, you are wearing it, no problem. You can continue with the same hat, but you have with the business knowledge, you are coming here, right? So we do a lot of work. So here I say variable and arguments exploration. Explore. So when you are creating a process, we'll be giving the name and the description, right? So take my seat. Loading. So you need to have, once you identify the process, then things will be pretty much easy, right? So you know what to automate, right? So for example, so everybody has to come up with one scenario. So today, maybe I talk about HR department, right? So HR department, what are the questions they come across? Okay. Payroll process, right? So in the payroll process, so they need to add few salaries, right? So payroll process will add, determine the salary. So let us construct the I will send this notes to you. So let us think about, I need your input to fill this one. So it's a payroll process. So the department is HR, right? So HR will do this process. Process name is payroll. Now employee salary. So this process is employee salary, right? So for employee salary, employee salary. So it has different components, right? So what is the main component of the salary? So it is what is the main component? So okay, let us call this main components itself. And let us say additional components, which is any benefits, right? Benefits.
Incentives.
Yeah, incentives, yeah, which is part of the benefits itself. Is there anything else?
Super.
Super, good. That is super. Thank you. Anything else? Okay.
Leave
Leave.
will
Earned
come under
leaves.
this. Yeah.
Okay. Leaves. So which is leaves. So this should minus, right? So minus.
Finance policy.
Yeah. So this will actually leaves is indirectly will come to deductions, right? So we'll deduct that leaves, right? So
What about tax and GST?
GST is tax, right? So tax also is part of deductions. So deductions, tax minus plus leave, everything comes under deductions. Okay, let us have only this, right? So they will create this, to determine the employee salary. So they need to add all these components and minus the deductions, right? So minus the super and the deductions. So they need to add all this salary, which is main component, benefits and incentives, and minus super. Yeah, minus super and deductions, and finally they will give the total. Right, so we needed to create different variables here, and finally it is the total variable. So this employee salary will be going to a like payroll processing unit, right? So which is called they are called what is that? It's a nice term actually. Invoicing, right? So invoicing department, right? So they will invoice this. Right? So we need to create all this thing, and the invoice department will process the salary. Right? Process salary. So this is like this department will calculate salary. Right. So process one. Payroll. So the entire process is called the payroll process. And one of the in the payroll process, so first one is the calculate the salary. And second is pay the salary, like process salary. So first is done in the HR department and second in the invoicing department. Okay, so both are different department. So the payroll process. So first we are going to create. So we need to save this thing. So we need to rename this to I gave a simple walkthrough of what it is. So I created variable and argument explore. Now I want to change this as a payroll process. So how I do that? Right click on this project top folder and go to the project settings and just name. You can now edit the name and description we have already given. So I say payroll process and say process the employee salary by calculating his salary first and then process payment. So we need to create a assign. So before even assign, we need to identify for whom we are going to process this salary, right? So employee name is important on that.
Uh, Raj, can you just little go slow? We are also going to do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
You can parallelly do this as well. Yes, you can
Okay.
open it. Yeah.
Yeah, like just little bit slow.
No.
So how you are going to change the name for the project? You just go on project, click right
Yeah.
click and
So
project settings, right?
yeah, in the right click on the project settings. So is everybody going to follow, or anybody open UiPath?
Yeah, I've done actually.
Yes,
Anybody?
I'm doing it simultaneously too.
Okay. Deepti, Overboard, Ambika, Vijay, Venkat. Yeah, either you do, I don't mind if you do it along with me, but moreover, you listen. If you understand, you can do it again, because yeah, you can follow the same even after that. Once you understand also, it is easy, right? So if you didn't follow, it is okay.
Okay.
So that's fine. So first of all, so I told that here it is a payroll process, right? So we are going to give some annotation first of all. Okay, so what is annotation? So it is to explain what the process is, right? So go to annotations and shift F2. So we can create, right, to calculate salary. So you know the project description, right? You are going to calculate salary and process salary for an employee. Right? So somebody, if you are working on a project as a RPA developer and you go to, you get another good offer and you leave the company, right? So that time, some other developer opens this process, they need to understand what's going on. So you always create that, keeping others also in mind. So your program is understandable by others, right? So you need to give some description. So that is what called annotation. Okay. So to write the annotation, you need to right click from inside the process and go to annotations and then add annotation, or simply press shift F2. Okay. So next is, we are going to create some variables. So we have a plan. So we are going to create an employee name, and then calculate employee salary, right? So we are going to create employee salary and main components, benefits, all these are going to create in that process. So let's say employee name. So how do we create a variable? So we need to give control K. Okay, so control K and type employee name. So here I need to, as soon as I type it, it creates a problem here. It is not a correct value here. So value is required. I'm not giving any value. That's why it is giving an error. So I put this assign employee name. Okay. And you will be typing your value. So let me call this employee name as Harpreet. Right. So you type the employee name here and keep on adding, right? So that is where you will be creating the employee, all the just building the application, right? So now you have employee name. So what are the other ways you can create variable? So I created from here control K. Do you know any other way you can create the variables?
By selecting variables on the bottom and create variable, just click on it.
Wow, that's good. And you can click on create variable. So is there
That's
any other way anybody know how to create a variable? If you don't know, that's fine. Click on the properties, right? And you can still create variable and click on the properties. So for example, now I'm going to assign employee salary, right? So here I don't know anything. So now I'm going to create variable this way. The properties in the save to. So I'm creating control K from here and create total salary. Right, total salary. But I don't know what is the total salary. So I leave it empty now. To leave it to empty, I put nothing. I don't give anything, just put it in a quotes. I don't know anything about the employee total salary, but the total salary will be integer. Okay. When I give integer, I need to put it as 0. So initially it will be 0, but finally it will calculate. Okay. So what is the benefits? I need to create this benefits total salary. Next is benefits. So I give only benefits. I don't want to give any other incentives or anything. Just the benefits is, let me say, $1,000 of benefits. And then super is minus. So main component, I need to create a main component. Control K benefits. And again, is anybody following me?
Yes.
Anybody want to follow me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So are you good with up to this 3 steps?
Yeah, all good.
So, it's very easy, just like your Word document, you just need to copy and paste. So now I copy this benefits and paste it again and say main component. Main component and create in the same copy paste. I'm going to delete this and say Control K and create main component. So main component, I put it as 4,000. The variables in the main component, you need to change it to integer, okay, because all these are values, right? So it's both string and integer, right? It is a good way to learn about different variable type. Right, so main component is 4,000, benefit is 1,000. Now let us say only one component, which is called the deductions. Deductions, right? So let us say deductions, some $300 is deductions because of leaves and some kind of deductions. Right, so we have benefits, we have main component, and we have deductions, and maybe we also have super. Super, and create super also here. So, say super is like $1,000. So main component, I put it a bit more, $8,000. So the variable, the super, this is also integer. Okay, so all are integers, all the number variable are integers, okay? So now you have the total, right, all the value. Now you can do the calculation for total, okay? So I give a name called calculate total. Calculate total. So what will be the calculate total? Somebody tell me how to calculate the total. So we have main component, benefit, deductions, super. So how to calculate the total? And somebody paid me on this. What I need to do?
Yeah. String.
Yeah. So, I want to do, now I want to calculate the total. Tell me what I need to put here, what variable I need to put here, and what I need to put here. So I have all these variables. One is the employee name, total salary, benefits, main component, super, right? I need to add the benefits and subtract the deductions, right? So sorry, I didn't create deductions. Control create deductions. I have deductions and the salary. So the salary component minus deductions is the salary, right? So tell me what I need to put here in the left hand side of the calculate total and what I need to put in the right hand side of the calculate total.
Process salary.
Process, I don't have any variable with the process salary.
Oh. Total salary?
Total salary, good,
Yeah.
total salary. Total salary. Yeah, somebody says in the comment as well, good, yeah, it is the total salary. What is the value to save? Here, what I need to give.
So string operation will be.
There is no string operation, it is only the addition and subtraction of the values, right? String operation is coming next, but this is the calculating the total. Right, so what we need to do now? So left is the total salary, what is the right?
It's total salary plus benefits plus main component
So it is
minus deduction.
benefits, so I give the, see when I, to bring the argument, so I need to press control space and you get all the variables. So what I need to choose here?
Calculate
Yeah, do I need,
function.
yeah, to calculate, so what I need to select here? Do I need to select benefits?
Benefits
Yes,
plus
Plus
yeah, plus, what is that?
plus main
main
component.
component.
Main components, yes, good. What else?
Totals. Oh, so I think
Main
that's
component,
Plus super.
no minus super. No?
yeah, it is minus super. Minus super
Okay, sorry. Minus super minus deduction.
as deductions. Yes, that's right. So
Sorry, Rajneesh, I'm confused here. What is total salary in that case? Like,
yeah, total salary is, we are going to use the calculation. We are adding the main component and benefits and subtracting the super and deductions is the total salary.
okay, so total salary is not the base salary.
No, it is not.
No, okay, yeah.
We're confused with that. Okay. So, so there is a problem here. So you need to tell how to fix, what is this problem? Okay. So read this, try to read this. Okay. Don't think the developer way, but try to understand what is written there.
So can we put a bracket in after minus sign, minus bracket super plus deduction?
No, that's okay. But try to read this error message. The problem is we don't understand, we don't read. If there is a error, we don't have that ability to read it. Right. So
right.
try to read that, what is trying to tell.
Selected
Venkat
values.
has given the answer
Oh, okay.
in the chat.
Good. That's the correct one. Yeah, but did everybody understand that? So deduction variable need to change the type to integer, right?
Okay.
So that's a very good answer. So that is the problem. If you see here in the error message, it says, there is the selected values is incompatible. Option strict on disallows implicit conversion from string to double. So there is some string and you are not convert to integer or double. So which means you need to see all the values here. So I put deductions here. And if you see the deductions, it is string. So we cannot do mathematical operation with the number and a string, right? So either it has to be all numbers or it has to be all string, right? So one of them is still a string. So we need to change that to integer now. Okay, so still it is a error. So to fix this, I'm going to change this to integer and see if it is finished. Yes, it is working now. Right now we got the total salary. So we say, okay, the message box. Say the total salary for now it is the string manipulation, right? So I'm giving the employee name is total salary. So message box, it only shows string, right? You all know. So this total salary is a integer. So here it is saying, it is very difficult for me to convert. All right. So if you receive this kind of message saying, it is the selected value is incompatible, or there is problem with implicit conversion. So you need to check the integer this value, the variable type. Okay, so you need to convert this to string, because total salary is number. We need to convert into text before you display the message. Okay, so once you do that, it will be all good. Okay. Now I'm going to run this program. Okay, so this is only variable. Now you can play around with the string and integer and convert between them and do it. Now I'm going to run this program. Now you will get the total salary as in the message box as the output. The total salary for Harpreet is 7700. Okay, so this is the output.
I
Okay.
like it.
Oh, okay, that's good. Oh, you mean like the salary?
Salary.
That's good. Okay, maybe I can put you more as well. You can be even more happy.
Thank you.
Okay, Harpreet. So, anybody finished up to this? Is it working for you? I don't expect you to finish now, but if you at least understand the flow, or right, the operations, the mathematical operation, if you understand how I am doing, that is enough. Actually, even if you not able to follow this, right?
Literally, it's all fine. But just want to understand one thing. When we put these assign boxes, where we put these values,
Mhm.
is it mandatory for us to enter the value? We won't be able to proceed to the next step without filling up the value.
No, if you don't put the value, it is still ask for value. Right?
Okay.
So the calculation now currently we say this is as a hard-coded value, right? So we are passing the value with the variable, right?
Alright.
But in future, what we will do, we won't pass this value. Instead, we will get in a real time. Right? We will be entering as an input. We will be when the program is running, we will be providing the input.
Then it will be more like automated.
Yeah, more automated. Yes, true.
And we can extract the data from any Excel file as well.
Yes, we can do.
We
pretty
can
much.
link it up with
Yes, we can link it up. So this is a basic step. So once you do this, so we can do all the we can build on top of this.
Okay.
So now you understand variable, right? So anybody here don't understand variable?
Actually, now I've understood the problem with my previous program as well.
Oh, okay.
So it was with the changing from to string to integer and
Yep.
yeah, different one. Oh, good now. Thank you.
Anybody don't understand this? Raise your hand or just type it to me. I can focus more on it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So you all are good, right? So we can go to the next. So you saw variable. So variable is the easiest one. Now we have arguments. So what is argument, right? So if I copy the total salary and convert into the argument, to convert variable to the argument, you need to give convert to argument and it goes there. So will this work now? Yes, it will work, right? So it will work here. But actually it doesn't solve the purpose. The main purpose of argument is not working within one workflow, but it is working with multiple workflows. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another workflow, which means here there is a main workflow, and I'm going to create another workflow called, there is a sequence. We say process salary. Okay, so this department will process the salary of that employee. Okay, so now there is two process. So first thing, it is process, payroll process, and maybe I put everything under calculate salary. So to convert this one into the main program. I put it as extract as workflow. I say calculate salary. So when you see that, so I say it is as calculate salary. So payroll process has two workflow. One is the calculate salary and other is the process salary. So calculate salary is done. And now you saw I have created a process salary as well, right? So you can just drag and drop the process salary to here. Okay. So there are two steps. One is the calculate the salary, which is this one, the payroll process, right? So the employee name and salary and the total salary is calculated. Now we need to pay this, pay this employee the salary. So we say the process salary, right? So how do we do the process salary? So we say assign and say, just for now we may open application and do the process, but now we say one variable, yeah, the process is what we can do, we need something from, we need what is the total salary, right? Then only we can do. So let me put just, okay, I think assign is fine. Salary processed. Okay, so it is a string, but it needs I'll say salary processed for employee name. So I put another one, employee name is okay. So I put salary processed and say, salary processed for employee name is total salary. So did you notice that? So if I run this program, it don't know who is the employee and what is his salary, right? So where it has to come from? It has to come from another department, which is the HR department, right? So we need input, employee name and salary. So how do we get the input, right? So the answer is arguments. So we get it from arguments. Okay, so we have variable here. So to get it as an argument. So if you need some part of this process salary as an argument, you need to get it from other program. You need to have this as an argument. Okay. So what you need to do is employee name and salary, you need to convert into the argument. Okay. So when you convert, so there is a direction in and out. So if the direction is in, you are expecting from an input. If you are expecting an input, put it as in underscore. Okay. So you are expecting the input, put in underscore. If you are expecting an input, in underscore. This to process a salary, it needs two input, which is the total salary and the employee name, right? But if you are giving it as an output, right, this total salary is an output. So say it is out underscore. The reason you are getting is, we need to choose which direction it goes. It goes out. Okay, either it goes out, it goes in, at stage it is in, out, and property. I'll let you know about this. But now you need to know is there is in and out. Okay. So sorry, I'm going a little over time. Please, if somebody is busy, you can leave now. But I can send you the recording. That's not a problem. But if you want to stay, please stay. But this is very important topic, right? Argument and variable. So variable in the process salary. Now to calculate the salary, it will if process the salary, it will fail. Okay. So let me run this program. Now I did not do anything, right? So let us see if this works. To debug the program, what you need to do, or just run it and show if it is running or not, right? The compilation itself is failed or cancelled, right? So it didn't accept, first of all, because there is no mapping here. So if it is red color, this orange color, there is some problem, right? So you need to click on this and say, what is that out salary? So out underscore salary is, it is the total salary. So we are mapping the total salary. We created a total salary. Now the out underscore total salary is total salary. Okay. And now you click on the in underscore total salary, what it is. And oh, sorry. Actually, you also need to give the name of the employee name as well in the output. Say the convert to argument. This is also out underscore employee name. Okay. So there are two output from the first program. One is the employee name and one is the total salary. And there are two inputs to this process program, process salary, which is employee name and total salary. Okay. We don't need anything here. It's actually okay because we are not connecting any value. So in the process salary, you need to click on this one and we need to map the input with the output. Okay. Yes, it shouldn't have this program in the main. Okay, there is some problem with the string. We'll fix that. Right. So what I'm doing here is it's only this program, which is to calculate the salary. So the salary is calculated. So now you will get the output from this one. Okay. So in the process salary, so there is salary processed for employee name is total salary. Okay. So you get both input in employee name in total salary, and the total salary must be integer. Okay. And the employee name is string. Now, once you map this, the ins total salary is out of total salary, which is correct. Okay, now you are passing the argument to this workflow. Okay, and you will get output inside this program. So let me run this and say step into. Still it is string. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, what is salary processed? So you know what you do you understand what is the problem here? Why it is saying this problem? Anybody understand? Yeah, to string is missing. Yeah, that's correct. But why? So the salary processed, you need to check what is salary processed. It is string, right? So we need all this as a string. So the left-hand side is an integer. You need all this as an integer. Left-hand side as a string. You need all the, this is like process salary, right? Salary value. Okay. So go to the properties and open this, and this is an integer. So you need to convert that to string. Okay. Now everything becomes string. Okay. So now salary processed is the output, but you are getting input from some other program, the previous program. Okay. So let me debug the program. So, you know, it might be, I know I went a little bit fast with that. You may not be able to follow, but I will explain when I am debugging. Okay. So don't worry if you are not able to follow. So now if you can see that the control is in the process salary. So far what we have done is this part. Until this you understand, right? The total salary for Harpreet is 7700, right? This up to this everybody clear, right? Now I click OK. So from here, I'll go step by step. What will happen is it will just salary processed. Okay. So here, if you want to execute this, so now you can see the salary processed here is null, right? It doesn't have anything because it needs the input. So now, it will go do a lot of operations and need to change the salary processed to this value. Then you need to execute this. And now you can see that value of the salary processed is salary processed for Harpreet is 7700, right? So previously you say salary for Harpreet is 7700. Now you can see the message, the salary is processed for Harpreet is 7700, right? So where did it get the value? The Harpreet and the 7700 comes from another program as an input, right? So it processes that and shows the output like this. Okay, everybody clear or any questions?
Rajneesh, can you go back to argument and then show us like how did you include these last steps?
Yeah, sure. So I got this one program, calculate the salary. There are actually multiple ways to achieve this. Okay, I can have two different steps, but I need to create a lot of variables here to do that. But now, within the calculate salary, this is the HR department process. So until this, you understand. So from here, I create a, let me delete this. Okay. Now in the main program, if you see, there are two programs. One is the calculate salary and the other is the process salary. Okay. So let me delete this file as well. So now the main program doesn't have anything, right? So it's a payroll process. So from the project, I just drag and drop the process, calculate salary, right? First is the calculate salary. So once I do the calculate salary, maybe what are the outputs I'm getting here? Okay, so I need to create so this is another way of doing it. So I say it is as Control K, total salary, okay? And this is a variable I'm creating in the main file. And here I'm creating employee name. Okay, this is another way of creating, okay? So once I run this program, I will have the total salary and the employee name here, okay, as a variable. Actually, where this comes from the output of the calculate salary program, right? So if you see this calculate salary program, you can see there is an output. Okay, do you understand? Now, I'm going to process the salary as the next step. Okay, so to process salary, what we need, so it will immediately, it will say orange color. If you click on this, it will, this value is empty. It will ask for two values. You need to pass that. So what is the employee name? You know that employee name, we have the variable, right? What is the salary? We give the salary as an input. So we are providing input to this other program. I told you argument is passing data between another workflow, right? So this is one workflow file. This is one workflow file. So to pass that value from there to here, you need argument. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, here, is there any output? No output. So what I'm going to do here, let me do this as a salary process as an argument and say this is the out. Okay. So this program has three arguments. Two are input and one is the output, and out is salary processed. Okay. Now, it is out and I say, this value is blank. I create one variable. So this is from the main program. I'm getting the output. Where do I store this output? Let me say this is an output itself, right? Output. This is the output itself. So I can show us a message box. Message box. I say output dot output already it's a string, so no problem. Okay, so you saw that this message is constructed in the process salary, right?
Yeah.
This out salary. So to show this in the main workflow, it is not possible, right? We need to create that argument and pass it outside this workflow. So this is operating outside the workflow, right? It is not inside the workflow.
Okay.
So when I want to show that message outside the workflow, I'm getting this output from here. I'm catching that output as out salary in the output, okay, as a variable. So this argument I'm getting it in a variable and then showing it here. Now let me run this program up to here and say up to debug. So it will process the salary and I'll show you the message box. I'll share this program with you so you clearly understand what is variable and what is argument. And I want you to create at least 5 different scenarios, 5 different example, the way we created. The total salary for Harpreet is 7700. Now it comes up to here. Oh, anybody know why it's not happening? No.
Because because you selected only message box.
But it should have come here. There is some problem. Out a salary. Can you see the direction here?
In,
We need to change out.
Yes.
out. Yeah.
So this is kind of a challenge that you need to come. You will definitely come across this. You pass variable and still the value not coming out. You need to give it out, not in. That is why I tell the best practice. So last class, Harpreet asked about some best practice. So this is one of them. So out underscore salary. The reason I'm giving out is you need to choose the correct direction. Okay. So I purposely made this mistake so that I can create the scenario. So out underscore salary, I'll give out. Okay. So now we can run this. And again, I fix this one as salary. Output. And then I run this one up to here. Maybe debug up to here. See, if you don't understand, it's okay. It's very normal because this tool, I'm comfortable, but not everybody is comfortable with this. So you try it. If it is not working, please book a session with me. We'll go through even more slower. Okay. So no need to be panic. So it happens when you are start learning new things. Like it's like driving a car. The first day, everybody will shout it the way we do. But after, then you become a legend in driving car, right? So very similar to that. Or learning any new skill, right? Swimming or anything. So it will take a lot of practice in that.
Raj, why this is red dot on the message box?
That is called a breakpoint. So I stop it here.
Okay.
Just to control the workflow and then show this message box. Otherwise, it will keep going, right? So yeah, stop it here and then this is the output we wanted. Okay. So now as you understand this, I want now the assignment week starts from today, right? So next week by now you should have reviewed the whatever I taught in the business analyst class, the business complexity and those things. You need to clearly know that. I will ask questions, right? And second thing is you need to do at least 5 programs, at least 5 different scenarios, the same like the HR program. You can create any kind of store, department, college, or different, whatever create these steps, right? The process name and the workflow name and get the output. So you need to, for me, main thing I will look for is, are you using arguments properly, right? You need to create arguments in one workflow and need to pass arguments to another workflow, right? So here I calculate salary, then I put it into process salary. So same way you need to do, you can choose your favorite department, favorite project, but do this. Okay, at least 5 example you need to create. Then only you will be a little bit comfortable. Okay, so create that. I will be sharing this document. I mean, sharing this workflow with you for you to understand. Yeah, and debug and find it. But if you are not comfortable, it's okay. Connect with me again between this week. Check with me in WhatsApp when I am available and connect with me so I can walk through step by step. Okay. Okay. Any questions?
Rajneesh, the only doubt I have here is like, in output you have selected string, but the value is basically integer. So how are we selecting it as a string?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is string, but inside it is integer, right? Is
Yeah.
that what you're asking?
Yes.
So here that is actually a string. So you need to see as you see the direction, you also need to see the argument type, right? So here the employee name is string. The out
Yeah.
underscore salary processed is also a string. Only the salary is input. So when I process this one, so if you see the value,
Yes. I got it. I got it now.
salary processed for this integer, the employee, which is also a string. The total
Right.
salary is actually an integer, but I converted into a string, right? So
Right.
left hand side is a string. This all the right hand side should be also a string. Otherwise, it
Sure.
won't work.
Yeah. Got it now. Yeah.
Right?
All right. Thank you very much.
No worries. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Anybody? No, right? Okay. Okay. All good. No questions, right?
All good. Raj, you're going to share this one, right? This video also.
Video, if I don't want to share video, right? The main intention is, I want everybody to attend the class, try it, and only on specific request I will be providing videos. Right.
Okay.
So intention is, video, in the past, it is not that useful. You don't see, you will keep collecting videos and you don't get time to watch all the concept. So better you try it. And if you are stuck somewhere, I'm happy to help.
Okay.
So I think that's